Hi, everyone. Cyndi Olin here with the Successful Woman's Guide to Meet and Marry Her Man. I am so excited to introduce our returning guest, Bex Burton. And today, ladies, we're going to talk about something that we oftentimes see that pops up when it comes to dating and relationship. And it can be even a syndrome that is subconscious, which can inadvertently create results that you don't really want, right? So welcome back. So glad you're here.
Awesome. Thanks, Cyndi. Hey, everybody. It's good to be here.
So let's talk about what you call leaky energy. Could you give our ladies, watchers and listeners an example of what that could look like when it comes to, almost self-sabotaging their success in dating relationships?
Yeah. And you definitely hit the nail on the head calling it self-sabotage. Sometimes we're conscious of these behaviors, sometimes we're not. But basically, when we are trying to create something in our life that we've never created before, it takes a lot of who we are and our own manifestation powers, our own energetic forces to elevate ourselves to become a vibrational match for the thing, that which we're drawing in. And so when we're really focused on attracting what I like to say, outrageous lasting love, it takes outrageous energy. It takes focus and it takes intention and it takes a lot of self-love and compassion. And it takes a lot of intention, like focused and honed intention. And what tends to happen is that, especially with the busy boss ladies, the driven, ambitious, successful women like ourselves and many of the women in the audience, we've got this idea of how it should be. We have expectations. In other areas of our life, we have created incredible results. We've created businesses or an outstanding position in our career, or we've purchased homes or condos or vehicles or world travels, or, we've created these amazing, outstanding results in our life. And when it comes to love, which I'm sure that you guys you've talked about in other interviews, the tactics or the ways of being and the ways of creating those results don't necessarily work the same way when we're talking about creating relationships and interpersonal, right? So when we think about that, it's not necessarily when we're talking about love attraction, it's not necessarily about doubling down or doing more or trying harder. But I think that it's more about really reclaiming the parts of ourselves that we're letting kind of fitter away and get away from us, almost like squirrel moments where we're distracted, or, if we think about in a working environment, if you need to write a blog post or if you need to be creative in some way, our creative energy is all very aligned with our feminine energy. Our creative energy needs some space and it needs some focus, some honed intention, so that we can be creative, so that we can have the ideas and the writing, the words will flow from us. And much is the same way I see in manifestation and attracting what we desire. We really need that space to be creative, that honed intentional energy on that which we desire. And like I said, when we're not experiencing those results in the time frame that we expect them to happen, then we start getting distracted and we start chasing squirrels and we end up leaking our energy out into these other places, which takes away the focus and the intention from that which we desire.
Yeah, I love that. And, also it takes away the focusing in on what you do want, right? Mm-hmm. What kind of relationship, what kind of experience you're looking to create. And, it's a fine line when it comes to women nowadays, in the modern world, and creating relatitions. So when, that starts to happen, I kind of call it a toilet bowl of, going down. But when that starts to happen, what are some good ways to shift the energy to, almost open you up to receive big love?
Well, I think the very first step is to recognize like what exactly is happening, because the reasons why we get distracted and, follow the squirrel and is because we're trying to avoid something, and most often we're trying to avoid the pain, the heartache, and the loneliness of not having our person in our life, and this is why, and some of these leaky symptoms that start to happen are, recently I was working with a client whose ex popped up into the picture, and, they had been on again and off again. And when we started working together, it was very clear. She was very adamant that he was not her person because he did not meet her non-negotiables. Some of the things that they had experienced, like communication things, those are nice to haves, but like communication, for example, is something that is a skill that can be learned and developed and grown. But so the non-negotiable that she was butting up against with him was lifestyle. Like they just simply did not share the same lifestyle. But several months in, and even though she's experiencing a higher quality of men entering her orbit, she's not meeting the right man.
Right.
And all of a sudden her ex pops back into the picture, and he's this soft place to land. He's this sort of Band-Aid, remedy for what's really needed is open heart surgery. So that Band-Aid remedy feels good. It feels like, oh, well, I can just feel good. I can be held in somebody's arms and not feel so lonely, not feel the heartache of not having my person, not feel how difficult it is to attract that which I really, truly desire. So if I just spend a little time with my ex, right?
Right.
I call the less than extraordinary man, the Mr. 80%, Mr. 90% even, who's the guy that we really love, we get along with really well, but there's just that small percentage, that 20%, where he's not meeting one of your non-negotiables. I was working with another client, great chemistry, they had great conversation, loved each other's company, but he wasn't interested in commitment. And that was one of the big non-negotiables that she was looking for. So in order for her to truly attract what she was looking for, she and this other client whose ex popped up into the picture, we have to release the men that we know are not our person. Right. If that is what we're looking for. Yeah.
Right. It's the close but no cigar syndrome. I always call it that.
I like that.
It was interesting when you shared that story about your client. I recently had a client that she was dating the close but no cigars. An ex popped back up, same thing. And literally, we had that coming to Jesus moment where it was like, he's not your man, and trust to release this, that he's coming. Well, less than a month later, she met her guy. And what was so special and amazing is not only is he what I teach, the fabulous 5 qualities, not only does he possess that, but even more that she didn't even realize. And that's how it works, you guys. Yeah. And when you actually open yourself to trust, she didn't like me that day. But, she was just kind of like, man, it's just that tears and you're frustrated. And, like a lot of women and men say this too. Am I going to meet somebody that I'm really attracted to, that I like, that all this? But open up your heart to receive and let go of what is not for you. I loved how you shared that too.
Totally. Yeah. And that's what happened to me too. I had a Mr. 80%. That's what I call him, close but no cigar. And I had to accept the truth that my heart knew, that he wasn't my guy. And I released him, and several months later, less than a few months later, my man, who's now my husband, walked into my life. And what you're speaking about actually brings something else up for me. One of the other ways that we like kind of diffuse and leak our energy is when we are so focused on the end result. And again, as driven, ambitious, successful women who've created outstanding results in our life, this is a very, not only is it a very masculine way of approaching things, but it's also very common because, this is in our lives, we are rewarded from so many external avenues from what we produce, what results we create. However, in interpersonal relationships, matters of the heart, masculine, feminine dynamics, when we're so focused on that result, we're setting ourselves up to be a failure every single day that we don't hit that mark.
Yeah.
And so when, the conversation that you had with your client and she, you were saying like, we have to trust that he's not your guy. Do you believe that is not your guy? Release. That moment, yes, there are tears. It doesn't feel good, but right. That moment is cause for celebration. Mm-hmm. So when we release our focus on that end result, then we can start celebrating all these micro moments in the process. Because historically, that would have been a stopping point for her. She would have been like, oh, well, my ex is safe. He feels good. I can just hang out with him. And that would have been a stopping point. 2 months later, they've broken up again, and she's back at where she was.
Right.
But for her to trust and release and feel that pain and just feel that heartache and that longing, mm-hmm. Damn, that is cause for celebration. And when we can celebrate even those painful moments, that is focusing on the process, the journey. And that's really like honing our intention and staying energetically sound on that process.
I love that. And, when you release and you trust, like you just said, Bex, it just opens up your heart to receive the love that you and your heart deeply desire. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So I know you've got an amazing gift for our ladies out here. Would you like to share about what gift?
I would love to share about it. The work that I do with women primarily focuses around our mindset and how we're approaching things. Because again, as driven, ambitious, successful women, we tend to have a black or white thought process. Like it's all or it's nothing. And so the gift that I have for your audience today is a video collection. It's 3 videos that are sharing 6 mindful practices to help us open up to love and open to receiving love. So it's mindset shifts that we can recognize recognize that we're on this journey, recognize that this journey is a blessing and that it's a transformative path. Hello, words. And it helps us stay energetically sound and in lots of self-love and compassion on this journey. Because it's, if outstanding, extraordinary love were easy to attract, everybody would have it. There would be no such thing as divorce. So it's not that this is a impossible path, but it's definitely a transformative one. So the gift is to support the women in having the right mindset for this journey.
Yeah. Love it. Super generous. Thank you so much for being here today. I know we could have gone on for hours and hours about this, but ladies, I hope you enjoyed, and click the link below for Bex and get her generous free gift. And we will see you next time on the Successful Woman's Guide to Meet and Marry Her Man. Bye, everyone. Cyndi here, and I hope you are enjoying our series, The Successful Woman's Guide to Meet and Marry Her Man. Whether you're single or in a relationship that you're wanting to go to that next level of depth, I'm here for you. And I want you to know that, everyone has their, it's not a one size fits all. Yes, you get a lot of great insight here. And I want to invite you to book a call, a complimentary call with my team or myself during this event for questions and to get clarity around your next steps in your love life. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to support you. And again, sometimes it's just a couple of little tweaks that get to be done to really open yourself up fully to receiving that extraordinary love that is your birthright. So sending you love, click the link below, and I look forward to getting to know you. Sending love. Bye.